you've mentioned something very important, that you still see nowadays that most of the efforts on the global stage, at least, is being done on curing the disasters which result from man-made mistakes in messing with the environment. And you've also mentioned that the United Arab Emirates has taken leading steps and projects and actions in order to give an example to the world on how to deal with these and to combat climate change. Where do you see the opportunities in terms of research and development, new technologies, innovations? Where do you see the opportunity and the sectors which can mostly create impact in reducing gas emissions, and not only carbon dioxide, but also methane, because I know that you're very keen on that aspect as well. So where do you see the industries, for example, in energy and transportation, and what kind of technologies and innovations you recommend focusing on for the next 10 years in order to create really a good impact in reducing gas emissions?
I think we first have to put our priority right. I believe that the Paris Agreement have actually hammered carbon dioxide and have left other potent gases, greenhouse gases, and I don't want to say untouched, because unlooked at. I was actually making a calculation on a paper that I have actually wrote, where the methane worldwide is being the emission of methane as a potent gas is equivalent to the combined emission of carbon dioxide on Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar.
Wow.
You are talking of about 900 million metric ton of methane, and it goes even higher every year. Now, where are the countries that are the highest on the methane? United States, India, and China. If we put our priority right, we should look into these potent gases in a fair standards. You cannot only think of producing energy from hydrogen, while you know that your hydrogen is actually being manufactured from methane, and all the hydrogen in the industry today is a color of a rainbow. There is very little of a green gas, green hydrogen. The rest is gray, blue. They came to a rainbow colors, all the colors of hydrogen, just to mislead the industry. Yes, this is hydrogen, but this is not clean hydrogen. This is not the intention of the Paris Agreement or the world when you are having another option of a fuel. If you are dumping a lot of methane, then this should actually be looked at. I believe that on the last share count would be actually on the COP28, and we will see these differences or these other gases from these results. We could actually look into how do we cater for gases that could actually, or technology that could reduce other potent gases, not only carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide have been studied a lot, and so much of industrial revolutions, technologies that have been generated to reduce its impact. I believe going into other source of energy should actually be carefully looked at.
Meaning, Your Excellency, if we address it to businesses and investors and to look at it from the business perspective and economic perspective, if in the United Arab Emirates and other countries we're looking into using hydrogen as a clean source of energy and extracting and producing hydrogen, there's a great opportunities for businesses and investors to come and look into developing new innovations and technology on how to reduce the methane emissions from the production of this hydrogen and how to contain these methane and other toxic gases and store them not to pollute the environment. Is this accurate?
To some extent, yes. Now, what we do is the hydrogen is a gas. Mm. And now this hydrogen, we made an assumption that when we produce this gas, we can push it on an existing pipelines. Mm. Now, the latest research shows that the existing pipelines in which the LG is going through, the gases, is not good enough for hydrogen, pushed by 20% hydrogen, 80% methane. In that sense, hydrogen that you create in your country would actually be utilized in your own, because you cannot export it elsewhere. If you do not have the technology that could that was designed and manufactured for the purpose, not each gas would be equivalent to the existing gases that we use or potent gases that we use today. So the technology manufacturer should think in other options, even on the pipeline that carry that. They should also think, and how can they make liquid out of this gas? Because when it is liquid, you can't transport it even in ships or in pipelines. Today, there are some great attempts to transport liquids of hydrogen from Australia to Japan. That's a great step. However, they really need to look into where this hydrogen came from and what happened, what other disasters does it do. Now, if we push back the remainder of hydrogen into the earth, do we know what happened within that earth? Now we are solving the atmosphere problem at the cost of the earth problem. We have many things to
unanswered
and also great opportunities for businesses,
for research as well,
and businesses as well. Today is an opportunity really for businesses to look into the future of hydrogen, the future of solar, the future of other fuel that could actually be helpful. I think lately we have seen fusion being looked at, similar to the sun's energy that we receive here. Also similar to the nuclear energy that we've seen all over the places. But this technology or this energy is less impacting the environment, because there is less remainder, less contamination than even in nuclear. The residual of the uranium will not be available or will not be there to dump on the earth with the new technologies.
Your Excellency, it's being said that if you want to achieve the 50% CO2 reduction by 2030, and I know that you're a little bit sensitive to CO2, but I think this is, it's an aim which, many tries to achieve. And many thanks for clarifying that there are other gases which need to be looked as well, not only CO2. But to achieve that, existing technologies already exist, and policies, governmental policies, already exist in that respect and have been tested. And only if we deploy these technologies within these years, this decenny, it's possible to achieve the 50% CO2 reduction by 2030. And also there are aims and objectives to by 2030 to have 60% of global car sales as electric cars. And all new buildings become zero carbon ready. However, this is the first milestone. However, if we look into further milestones, which many countries are looking into, which is to expand these gas reductions into industrial areas where the biggest challenge. For example, oil and gas generation, for example, energy generation, transportation, for example, heavy material and heavy equipment. So this is the biggest challenge, and for to have an impact on these industries and gas reductions, we need new technologies, we need new innovations to be able to achieve these. And these need to start now if we want to achieve our aim and objective of becoming net zero by 2050, 2060, and 2070 and others. So how do you see that? Do you see that, where do you see that the focus should be as a strategy if we want to achieve these objectives and these plans in terms of investment by the government, in terms of investment by the private sector, and in terms of focus by academic institutions doing research and by business people deploying these technologies?
Great questions. I believe, I've always thought that do we need to look into solving the results if this happens, and we have to be ready for it, because if in a 10 years, 20 years, and 3 decades, we see that impact tedious on our infrastructure. Our seas is being rising. Droughts are places. People are being affected. Their businesses is being affected. Do we want to look into that and try to sort it out? Because that is coming. Simply because we have not done the right formula right. So there are countries who are prepared or preparing themselves to migrate, to put up with the results. I was actually looking into a program on Alexandria. What they're doing, they're building breakers on the ocean or in the sea, White Sea, and simply because they do not want to see that sea rise affecting one of the old historical palaces. But they're using rocks. They're still using the old rocks, and we use it everywhere to make breakers. Now, can we think differently to make it easier? Now, if we go to the sources, looking into hydrocarbons only, I think we made the wrong decisions in a global sense, because the hydrocarbons is 1 out of 6, or maybe even more things we don't know till today. The definition now, people read net zero and assume that net zero is only carbon dioxide. Others say, no, well, carbon neutrality is the. It is all together. We should actually be looking into all the influencers on the, and then think into how do we utilize them? How can we get rid of the gas that we use today for our conditioning? This is a potent gas that is 4,000 times as much as carbon dioxide. We shouldn't be. I'm not only saying that carbon dioxide is good. Carbon dioxide is not good. But we really need to look into everything. We shouldn't only concentrate on mitigating the hydrocarbons or carbon dioxide. We should mitigate also other gases, and we should also provide technologies for other gases to reduce their impact. If we manage to get rid of this gas that we use in our air conditioning, we would actually be reducing 0.5 degrees Celsius from the climate, the temperature rise. So if we're thinking in 2 today and we abandon, that is easy to abandon, find some other gases to use that are good to the environment, good to the ozone, good to the people, rather than using the same fluorocarbons. I think we should really look into new innovation to replace our homes, for example. We know that the construction today, there are good programs on alternatives to the construction. We know that buildings causes almost 40 to 45% of the green
house
gas emissions. That is buildings. It comes from everything we use at home: glasses, aluminum, cooling, heating, electricity, whatever. Here we should be looking into the big chunk of saving our environment by knowing what to build and how to build and when to build and what material should be used to make things better, to make things more friendly to Earth, more friendly to the environment, more friendly to the people. I believe that we have so much of opportunities if we look into the right phenomenon. We're now have been taken probably by force to think hydrocarbons is the hydrocarbons is the impact of hydrocarbons today is less in terms of its life, because there are gases that their life is shorter and influence the environment faster. The methane and other gases, you're talking of 10 to 12 years. So we'll not wait till 2050. This gas would actually create more problems if we keep manufacturing it and use it in our as a solution. It would be exactly the same when we were looking into the ozone and how we solve the problem of the ozone. Because getting an alternative energy source by introducing an alternative emission to the environment that we have not known before.